Please make him welcome, Ian Dearden.
Thank you, and thank you for that lovely introduction. Who wrote that, by the way? I recognise part of it, but some of it sort of went off-piste a little bit. But yes, age is an interesting thing. I went to my 50-year high school reunion last year, which is the 50 years since I finished grade 12, and discovered a room full of old men, except for me. It was a single-sex boarding school when I went to it. It's since gone co-ed. But the significance of high school is this. Today I want to give you something old, something new, something borrowed, something blue, as the old wedding line goes. And I want to start with something old. This is the first song I ever wrote. I wrote it in 1973. My best guess is that I was either 15 turning 16 or maybe just 16. I think I may have even been 15. And the extraordinary thing is that the world doesn't look that much different, I suspect, to what I was looking at as a 15, almost 16-year-old. It's called Freedom. Went strolling about the world, see what I might see. Oh no, 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 no. Saw my sister there, sorrow in her eyes. Oh no, 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 no. Freedom seems a lovely word, but it seems it's one she ain't heard, and she's never gonna know it long as she lives. Saw my brother's hands in chains, whiplash across his back. Oh no, 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 no. I heard my brother scream, help me, he cried out loud, but no one came. Freedom seems a lovely word, but it seems it's one that he ain't heard, and he's never gonna know it long as he lives. Sins of ages rest on them, prisoners now, they were so then. Oh no, 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 no. They are there 'cause of you and me, and only we can set them free. Oh no, 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 no. Freedom seems lovely word, but it seems it's one they ain't heard, and they're never gonna know it long as they live. Thank you. There are two ways in which you can measure age. The first one is an easy one because I'll tell you some dates. In 2023, I arrived in Cairns for 2 weeks of work in my day job. If you don't know what my day job is, and some of you do and some don't, just Google my name, you'll find it pretty easily. or do something wrong.
Very wrong.
Yeah, very wrong. So there's your clue. So anyway, I arrived in Cairns and I was staying at the Shangri-La Hotel. It was the May Day weekend in 2023. I arrived on the Monday night, woke up Tuesday morning with a scratchy throat and repeated that F word. There's children here, so I won't repeat it. But I said it a number of times, and I went and broke out my my COVID testing kit, and sure enough, I had COVID. Mandatory 7 days in quarantine at that stage. So literally, people would come to my hotel door, knock and run away. So like the tricks you played as a kid. Luckily they would leave some food or something else there for me. Anyway, I did what anyone does in those circumstances, of course. I complained on social media, loud, very loud. And the lovely Chanel Lucas, who I think is playing in North Queensland somewhere this weekend, one half of Women in Docs, sent a message to the lovely Ros Popolato, who has just gone from a job in Tasmania to a job in Darwin, but at that stage was working at the Tank Centre in Cairns, and said, Ian's up there without a guitar, because somehow I'd travelled without a guitar to Cairns and I was banged up for 7 days. And that afternoon there was a guitar down in the reception, and shortly after it arrived in reception, a person comes and knocks on my door, runs away, and I open the door and there's a guitar. In that guitar I found this song. I write very few songs that reference my day job, but this is one. It's called Marianne. The evidence was there on the table, on the hall, scattered across the floor and smashed against the wall. Littered on the carpet, strewn around the sink. What more would it take? Make us stop and think. Evidence was there too, in the texts upon the phone, the writings on the voicemail that would scare us all from home. The photos have been taken, the measurements are all done, notebooks filled with versions from the witnesses, each one. Why did it happen, Marianne? Was it all just part of the plan? When did love become such a bitter, bitter feast? Why is there no escape from the belly of the beast? But still there came excuses, 100 reasons why. Staying meant believing, there was no need to cry. Why does this story keep on repeating without end? What will it take to break the cycle? How do we start to mend? Why did it happen, Marianne? Was it all just part of the plan? When did love become such a bitter, bitter feast? Why is there no escape from the belly of the beast? Thank you. The very last part of that story is that I was banged up for my 65th birthday. In ISO, 1,500 kilometres from home. The normal process in my job is I get flown home in the middle weekend. I had a darling wife who was going to look after me very nicely, and I had a concert from my dear friend Sam Buckingham, a wonderful singer-songwriter, despite the name, female Sam Buckingham, to go to, but all of that disappeared into a COVID lockdown. The other thing I was going to say about age is that two things. Firstly, at my age, I can remember every single lyric of every pop and rock song that was popular in the 1960s and early 1970s. I cannot remember the lyrics of my own songs.
No, that one.
Secondly, I have an aging iPad in which all of these lyrics are there, and it's very discreetly set up and a nice little stand and everything else. That died this morning. It was charged yesterday. It's a bit like me. It was charged yesterday and it died this morning. Luckily, I had an analogue solution which I'd brought as a backup. And this analogue solution is going to bring you a love song. I am a member of a songwriting group, and there's a couple of members of the group here. It's the most wonderful thing. It's called Smiths and Others. Smiths and Others because there are two members in the group who have the surname Smith. The others, are, of course, are people like me who don't have a surname Smith. And we bring songs, well, theoretically we bring songs to a meeting every month. When you don't bring a song, you're doing a Smith. I'll explain that later in another song that I'm going to sing. But it's an amazing thing to be part of a community of people who get such joy from writing, sharing, critiquing, and having fun with songwriting. I brought this song to one of my songwriting meetings, and one of the members, Mark Ziza, said immediately, that song, Our Wedding, because he was marrying, in fact, one of the Smiths, Merrin Smith. And you'll see why in a minute. It's a song about love and relationships, and I wrote it probably about 13 years ago, but as my darling mum, who was married to my dad for just 6 days short of 65 years, was dying, and I was sitting there watching him with her, I realised, of course, that I had written the very last verse for him. It's called You and I. You and I, laugh and cry, take a chance, love and romance, dream our dreams together seems the only way to try. You and I, smile and sigh, trials of life, trouble and strife, darkened sky passes by, sun it shines again. Love knows that love grows and holds tight, turns wrong to right, and love calls and love is all we know for sure. That's evermore. You and I, earth and sky, clouds and stars, Venus and Mars, chalk and cheese, elbows and knees, ever juxtaposed. You and I, the odds defy. What the heck, let's risk our neck. Come the day we'll make our way and never say goodbye. Love knows that love grows and holds tight, turns wrong to right, and love calls, and love is all we know for sure. That's evermore. You and I, by and by, holding hands, please understand. Down and up, we share the cup, we drink until it's done. You and I, as the end draws nigh, no regret for the course we set. Love is all that's our recall of the poet's dream of life. Love knows that love grows and holds tight, turns wrongs to right, and love calls, and love is all we know for sure. That's evermore. My darling Rob, Dad Rob, was a 20-year-old young man working on his family farm. Went to the cattle sale yards at Blackwater, which was probably a few hours' drive from the farm, which was itself about 32 miles outside of Emerald. And while he was at the cattle yards, a gorgeous young woman, 18 years old, sold him a raffle ticket. Years later, my mum discovered that raffle ticket in his wallet. Somehow, despite what apparently were other commitments that each of them had, within a relatively short period of time, my mum had moved from a governessing job outside Blackwater to a telephonist job in Emerald, and she didn't do that for very long before they got engaged and married. And as I said, just a shade under 65 years, which I think is just wonderful. So, I was telling you about our songwriting group. They've arrived. Fantastic. It's very stressful trying to think of a new song every month. So, one month, all I could do was turn up with this song. It's called the Songwriting Blues. And doing a Smith again is turning up without a song. So. Well, I'm rushing around, I'm feeling the stress. The folks around me, now they couldn't care less. I've got the songwriting blues. I got the songwriting blues. No matter how hard I rattle my brain, it looks like I'm doing a Smith again. I got the songwriting news, and it's bad, bad news. Well, I've drunk my coffee, I've poured through that newspaper, there's still no spark, it's just no use. I got the songwriting blues. Lordy Lord, I got them songwriting blues. 'Cause no matter how hard I rattle this brain, well, it looks like I've got absolutely nothing to gain. Got the songwriting blues, and it's bad, bad news. as I stare at the sky. I read all the signs and I delve to the depths of that still vacant mind. I've got the songwriting blues. Lordy, lordy, Lord, I got them songwriting blues. But no matter how hard I rattle my brain, it looks like I'm coming up with nothing again. I got the songwriting blues and it's bad, bad news. Well, what can I do? What can I say? My muse has escaped and it won't let me play. Got the songwriting blues. Lord, I got them so bad, them songwriting blues. No matter how hard I rattle my brain, well, it looks like I'm doing a Smith again. I got the songwriting blues and it's bad, bad news. Well, all that's left is to tell you my tale. So sad that again all my attempts have failed. I got the songwriting blues. Lordy, Lord, I got the songwriting blues. Well, no matter how hard I rattle my brain, it looks like I'm doing that Smith once again. I got nothing. I got the songwriting blues and it's bad, bad news. I'm doing the songwriting blues and it's bad, bad news. Oh Lord, I got nothing. I think that actually passed. I did turn up and sing it, and it's lack of inspiration got inspiration. So I grew up on a farm 32 miles. I don't even know what that is in kilometres. So I've never learned it. Outside Emerald, which is in central Queensland for anyone. In central Queensland. So, and I went to a one-teacher school at a little railway siding called Kindy. And there was some railway silos for grain. There was, in the old days, a telephone exchange. I just forget the name of the lady, but if you want privacy, don't go and live in the country, because the lady on the exchange who had to connect you would, of course, listen to all the calls, because what else do you do when you're sitting there having to connect people all over the place? That's your entertainment. And there was a CWA hall, and there were dancers in the hall. This is not a true story, but it's true in the sense of it tells a story. Love found, love lost. It's called Out of View. Cupcakes in tables, neat little rows. You in your blue dress with a bright yellow bow. I'm feeling awkward, tongue-tied and shy. I look to the ground, then up at the sky. The stars are alight, the air's cold and clear. The old folks are chatting over chips and a beer. The young ones are racing round the hall wild and free. The band strikes a chord, it's plain to see. It's Saturday night in Guindy. I can see it like I was there. Then it slips out of view like me and you, and vanishes into the air. I plucked up my courage while dragging my feet. I asked for a dance, you lushed interesting, you see. It started with a smile, then the kiss, then the dance, and before we could blink, it was love and romance. And oh, I can see you, and oh, now you've gone. Like Saturday night in Guindy, I can see it like I was there. Then it slips out of view, like me and you, vanishes into the air. My darling dad tells me that it may be a made-up memory, but it's still pretty good, pretty close to what would happen. So we sold the family farm in 1977. One more. And we, my mum and dad moved to Brisbane and bought and ran a cleaning supply company. So from being a farmer of a very large broadacre farm to cleaning supplies, it's an interesting journey. And that's what they did until they retired. Anyway, I, in my day job, which you can Google, ended up going to Emerald for work, and I had a day off, and I I went out to the family farm, and the homestead that I grew up in, which, you know, in my childhood memory was huge, it's actually a cottage that got built on and built on and built on, was gone. And not only was the homestead gone, all of the outbuildings, there was a garage, there was a tree, there was some horse yards, small horse yards, an outdoor dunny, drop dunny, nothing like me, my four brothers, my mum and my dad all doing the final trip to the loo. It's a little bit like camping, except that's where we lived. And all that was there was pasture. The whole thing had gone. And I really struggled with that, coming to terms with the fact that all of my childhood that I could remember, up till probably to the end of my primary school years, had all disappeared. So I sat down and wrote a song called Fragments, trying to come to terms with that feeling. I brought it to my songwriting group. They were fantastic. Just a couple of small changes, which, quite frankly, I think made the song. And it's recorded on my first album, What Took You So Long, which hopefully will be in the shop when I can get myself organised. You can also see it on YouTube. There's a lovely version on YouTube with a whole lot of photographs that my dad took. And if you do nothing else, go and Google on YouTube Fragments. There's a couple of versions of me singing Fragments, but there's one with my dad's photographs, and they just, you know, talk about evoking a childhood. Here it is. It's 45 minutes from town to here. Once took 2 hours, most in low gear. 30-odd years, that's a lifetime round here. Now I return. I'm standing here staring at the long waving grass that covers the fragments of lives now past. The old house is gone, the pastures return, it's all disappeared. All of the love, all of the joy, the images tumbling life here as a boy. There stood a home full of laughter and fun. That's long over, time's moving on. I'm looking all round on the drive back to town. Wide open plains, the trees are all gone. I'm straining for landmarks I once knew by heart. Where did they go? And all of the love and all of the joy, the images tumbling life here as a boy. There stood a home filled with laughter and fun. That's long over, time's moving on. Thank you. Those of you who were here last night would have seen the wonderful Rebecca Wright doing a very rare solo performance, which was just magic. And what is really fascinating is as we've been walking around, as I was walking around last night, and even as we were walking around today, people keep coming up and saying what a wonderful, wonderful gig it was. And I concur, it was just fabulous. And of course, Becky is probably better known these days for playing the cello. Sorry, the reason I couldn't find my capo is it dropped to the bottom of my pocket. This is the borrowed song from the set. It's the 51st Highlanders Farewell to Sicily. It's a song written by the very famous Scottish poet and academic and songwriter Hamish Henderson. At the time of the British invasion of Italy, which was sort of when the tide started to turn in World War II, he was an intelligence officer with the 51st Highlanders, and they were involved in the invasion of Sicily, and they actually stayed in Sicily while the rest of the British Army worked its way up the Italian peninsula. And as happens in these circumstances, you'll be shocked to hear this, but some of the local soldiers and some of the local women found each other attractive and found reasons why a soldier, not only that they were being withdrawn when they were withdrawn at the end of 43, I think, to prepare for D-Day, but they were being withdrawn, and some of those soldiers may never have reconnected. But while they were there, they clearly did do a bit of connecting. And Hamish was trying to sort of grapple with that. It's not home, but it's sort of like home, and there's things about it that are a bit like home. Dick Gaughan is the person who's probably made this most famous, one of the greatest of the Scottish singer-songwriters. Still around, although I think in poor health these days. Yeah. The pipe is dozy, the pipe is fey. Will nae come round for his veen o' the day. The sky o' Messina is unco and grey. All the bright charmers are eerie. And farewell, ye banks of Sicily, farewell, ye valiant shore. There's nae Jack will mourn the county, all the bright charmers are here. And farewell, ye banks of Sicily, farewell, ye valiant shore. There's nae home can smooth the wilds of ye, all the bright charmers are here. Then down the stairs and line the waters I take ye down the ferries of war. Then down the stairs and line the waters I, all the bright charmers are here. The drummer is polished, the drummer is braw, he canna be seen for his weapon of war, and his beast himself up for a 40 and all, to leave with his Lola, his dearie. And farewell, ye banks of Sicily, farewell, ye shilling and all, will all mine shebeens and bothies where kind señorinas were cheery. And farewell, ye banks of Sicily, farewell, ye shilling and all, will all mine shebeens and bothies where Jock made a day with his dearie. Then tune the pipes and drop the tenor drum, leave your kit this side of the wall. Then tune the pipes and drop the tenor drum, poor bloody swatties are weary. And farewell, ye banks of Sicily, farewell, ye valiant shore. There's nae Jack will mourn the Kyles of ye, all the bright charmers are here. And farewell, ye banks of Sicily, farewell, ye valiant shore. There's nae home can smooth the wilds of ye, all the bright charmers are here. Thank you. Big hand to the wonderful Rebecca. We actually discussed this a little while ago and then didn't follow up the discussion, so it came as a bit of a surprise to Rebecca that she was doing this morning. But luckily it was a surprise last night instead of this morning. But it would have been even more of a surprise. We have one song left. We have just enough time to do it, which is fantastic. I do lots of emceeing at the Bug for those of you who have been there. For those of you who haven't been there, it's the best listening room in Brisbane, New Farm Bowls Club, every Tuesday night. Please make sure you come. And I'm a Nazi on timing. And so I'm always pleased when my own sets run basically at a time. Our very, very dear friend, and a friend I suspect of at least some, if not all of you out there, John Thompson, died on the 4th of February 2021. We've had a couple of tribute concerts to him, one at Woodford in 2022 and one at the National Folk Festival in 2023. There are so far 3 songs that have been written for John, one by Eric Bogle, which is stunning, one by Fred Smithers, which is stunning, one by me, which you're about to hear, called Song for John, which is, at least its name is fairly self-evident. I hope John would approve of this one as well. I may not be as high profile as the other 2, but I think I've known John longer, so occasionally drop by and talk to him, and at the Toonk Cemetery, and hopefully, probably by early next year, there'll be a headstone, John's face as the Green Man, with the flowers and everything out of it. Nick has managed to cast that. So we're getting closer to what we want, which is a true memorial to the wonderful John Thompson. This is called Song for John, and I'm just delighted that Rebecca Wright is here to play it and sing it for me. Dawn is reeling in dreams that are stealing all of my life away. Green Man is calling, no time for stalling. I know I cannot stay. Waves keep on lapping, shorelines are napping. Time to be on my way. Music is playing, dear friends are praying. No reason now to delay. So bid me a fond farewell. Sing me one long last goodbye. Shed me a tear, but I leave with no fear. My work here will live on, my dear. Life is for singing, I hear voices ringing, far off beyond that shore. Time for the meeting with those who are greeting me in the evermore. So bid me a fond farewell. Sing me one long last goodbye. Shed me a tear, but I leave with no fear. My work here will live on, my dear. So bid me a fond farewell. Sing me one long last goodbye. Shed me a tear, but I leave with no fear. My work here will live on, my dear.
Dearden and Rebecca Wright.
Wasn't that beautiful and magical? What a lovely way to start the morning. Thank you so much, Ian.
and Rebecca. It has come to my attention that it is Linda Stemp's birthday. Whether or not you know Linda, I think